What's up guys? So today we're here in a 2011 BMW 335i. So this BMW had the N55 in it. So that's a 3-liter inline 6. It's got a single turbo twin scroll. Something I've always kind of liked about the twin scrolls, it always gives the illusion that there are 2 turbos, like one small one, one bigger one, to make the power more linear, because the power in this car is pretty linear stock. So stock, this car has around 300 horsepower, which kind of it's good for, I believe, like 250 to the wheels. This car has JB4 on it. It's tuned. It's got a bunch of different supporting modifications with it. It's got suspension. It's also got a different type of clutch. But power-wise, it's good for around 400 wheel horsepower with METH. And yes, this car does have a METH kit. I really like all the noises this car makes. Kind of reminds me of actually like a 2J. I know them, you know, the displacement's the same. They have the same amount of cylinders. It kind of does sound like a 2J. But what I really like is all the different noises it makes. So you can hear the turbo whistle, you can hear it spooling up, and the blow-off valve is just hilarious. Oh, boost. Oh, boost. Yeah, I have boost, and you don't. You're not EcoBoost. The noises are so great. So one of the things that the owner kind of harped on whenever I was getting in this car, whenever he was telling me about it, was the suspension. It seemed to be one of the things that he was really kind of proud of and he really enjoyed. So this thing has got ST ATX coilovers with camber cast plates. It also has 12mm and 15mm BMS wheel spacers. And it also has M3 front control arms, Eibach front and rear sway bars, and Beamer World adjustable sway bar and links. So overall, it makes it handling, you know, better is a blanket term. What I've been able to feel is there's a lot less body roll. It's much stiffer. But to somebody who's driving with you, they really won't notice too much. Like I said, unless you're going over a speed bump or, you know, pothole. It's still pretty comfortable. It's just whenever you're told that, oh, this car is coiled, it has this and that, so then we kind of start picking up on the little discomforts that those things are kind of causing. Like for instance, these bumps right here, you feel them a lot more. But then again, if you're going all out in a car like this, like you really don't care. So what are my final thoughts on this thing? Look, if you have a 335i and you have some money to play with, I don't see why you wouldn't do this. The power that this car makes and the way that it handles and everything, I don't see any reason why this shouldn't be able to beat an M3. In a straight line, definitely, there's a lot more torque that kicks in lower in. I know that the V8 that's in the M3, I mean, I love that engine, but it doesn't create a lot of torque low in. The boost kind of comes on, like no later than 2,000 RPMs. There is some spool up time, but you are on your power a lot faster than you are with an M3. I know the M3 gets its power up there, like towards like 5,000 RPMs, but I mean, once you get going with this thing just hooks, it goes. I think the only real complaint that I have with this car currently is probably the clutch. It bites too hard for me, and it's just, oh, come on, first gear, let's go. Okay, you see second gear's fine, I don't get that. You're gonna kind of have to expect these things whenever you're building out a car like this. I know a lot of you might be thinking or asking, okay, what about the reliability? You know, you bumped the horsepower up a substantial bit. This car really hasn't had much problems, mainly because the owner, John, works on BMWs. He's really taken to heart this car. He's done all the work himself. He knows this car inside and out. I've seen him take out the engine, I mean, for God's sake. Now, do you have to have that level of knowledge to maintain and be able to really keep the reliability tip top on this car? I wouldn't say so. Look, whenever I was talking to John, he said, you know, he changes his oil every 4,000 or 5,000 miles. He checks his fluids. He knows when it looks bad. He knows when he needs to change something, and he doesn't let the maintenance slip up at all. So he's been able to maintain this car really well, which has prevented it from having a lot of problems, if not any at all. Don't be discouraged by the badge either. I know people like to talk a lot and say that BMWs have a lot of problems. It's like, well, if you're not going to maintain a high-performance machine, this is not your Ford, this is not your Chevy. You can't just kind of kick it to the curb and kind of treat it the way you would treat a truck or something. You have to keep up with this, and if you do, the reward is great. I mean, you get a very well-built German car. Now, if I had to pick one of my favorite things about this car, well, like, I can't just pick one because I really have a good number of things. One of the things would be, funny enough, is the transmission. I'm not a fan of the clutch. However, this transmission, how easily this manual box works, I'm in love with. It shifts into gear wherever I want it, anytime, whenever. I mean, I haven't pounded on the gears at all, and I definitely haven't taken this car to the track or anything. But even when I did the 3 or 4 pulls that I did, it was just very smoothly into the next gear, right up to 3rd, right down to 4th, right up to 5th. I didn't have to fidget around and fight a lot to figure out where the next gear was to be found or anything. It was very cooperative, very great gearbox. The next thing would probably have to be is the sounds that this car makes. I mean, to start, the engine sounds great, but the turbo sounds that this car makes, the blow-off valve, and it's spooling up, it kind of makes you feel a lot more excited about the car whenever you're on power. You could be going slow, which I know this car is not. It gets up there pretty fast. But even if I was, I would still have a big freaking smile on my face just because of all the different noises that it makes. It just, oh, I love it. Well, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. Thank you, John, so much for letting me review your car. I'm gonna put his Instagram right up here. Let me know what your favorite thing is about this car down below. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say and see if it lines up to what I liked about it. But until then, thank y'all so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. That front gear, I stalled. Fuck me.